Welcome to ATCM, the Emergency Medicine channel. Today we are discussing about a pediatric problem in COVID-19 infection, that is MISC, multi-system inflammatory disorder in children and adolescents in coronavirus disease 2019, that is MISC. Something like HLH or macrophage activation syndrome, Kawasaki disease. But since it is coming under COVID, the name was given as multi-system inflammatory disorder in children in COVID, that is MISC. Normally, COVID-19 in children, the disease itself is mild, but some cases the patient will go to a syndrome similar to macrophage activation syndrome. Patient will become bad and patient develops multi-organ dysfunction. Some other names which was given to this disease is pediatric multisystem inflammatory syndrome, PMIS, pediatric inflammatory multisystem syndrome temporarily associated with SARS-CoV-2, PIMS-TS, pediatric hyperinflammatory syndrome or pediatric hyperinflammatory shock. This is similar to Kawasaki disease or toxic shock syndrome or macrophage activation syndrome and cytokine release syndrome. So almost all clinical features have similar findings of macrophage activation syndrome and Kawasaki disease with toxic shock syndrome. It's a mix of three important syndromes. COVID-19, you know that it's mainly a respiratory disease, but in some individuals it will go out of control and the patient may develop multi-organ dysfunction. This multi-organ dysfunction syndrome is seen in adult and children. When it is in children, we call it as MISC. It has got more similarities towards Kawasaki disease that also explained in COVID-19 infection. Some children will have features of toxic shock syndrome also. Major problem of this MISC is diseases associated with Kawasaki disease like syndrome, but they also can have hand and foot inflammation, swelling, mucous membrane changes, strawberry tongue, non-exudative conjunctivitis, generalized rash, and lymphadenopathy. They also can have neurological problem, hyperferritinemia, cardiogenic or vasoplegic shock. So they can have polyneuropathy, acute polyneuropathy, high ferritin levels and cardiogenic shock. High ferritin levels are explained in almost all type of inflammations. Very high ferritin levels are explained in macrophage activation syndrome. Many patients can have GI symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea and severe abdominal pain. Post-COVID patients present with severe abdominal pain, diarrhea, you have to always think about MISC. Now, if you see the percentage of symptoms in COVID in children, fever, GI symptoms, rash, conjunctivitis, mucous membrane involvement, headache, lethargy, confusion, tachypnea and labored breathing, bilateral infiltrates, sore throat, myalgia, swollen hands, feet, lymphadenopathy. These are the major findings seen in COVID and post-COVID syndromes like MISC. Some patients can have shock, Kawasaki disease-like features, myocardial infarction, arrhythmia, acute respiratory distress syndrome. They may require ventilation, acute renal failure, cirrhosis, polycirrhosis, pleural effusion, pericardial effusion, ascites, hepatitis, hepatomegaly, encephalopathy, seizures, coma, meningoencephalitis, all are common in this type of cases. But these things you can see in any multi-organ dysfunction following most of the other infectious disease like dengue also can have similar finding, leptospira also can have similar finding. When we have this type of finding in leptospira, we call it as Wheel syndrome. Here after COVID, we call it as MISC in children. Now, Kawasaki disease has got a diagnostic criteria like bulbar conjunctival injection, oral mucous membrane changes, peripheral extremity changes, that is swelling of palms and fingers, polymorphous rash, cervical lymphadenopathy. All these things are features of Kawasaki disease. So these features also can be associated with this MISC. Case definition was given by most of the major guidelines. Children or adolescents 0 to 19 years age with fever more than 3 days and 2 of the following: rash or bilateral non-purulent conjunctivitis, mucocutaneous inflammation signs, hypotension or shock, features of myocardial dysfunction, pericarditis, valvulitis, coronary abnormalities, or troponin T, troponin I elevation, BNP elevation, evidence of coagulopathy by PT, APTT elevation and elevated D dimers, acute gastrointestinal problems like diarrhea, vomiting, abdominal pain, and markers of inflammation like raised CRP, raised ESR, or procalcitonin may be elevated in secondary bacterial infections. No other obvious microbial cause, that is culture, may be negative. Evidence of COVID-19 infection or likely contact with patients with COVID-19. That is very important. Some patients can have COVID-19 antigen positive or PCR positive, or even IgM or IgG positive can be taken as COVID-19 infection. All patients with suspected MISC should be tested for SARS-CoV-2, including both serology, that is IgM and IgG, RT-PCR, and nasal swab. That should be done. Other laboratory findings like we have to see a CBC, lymphopenia is one of the most important finding. Mild anemia can be there, thrombocytopenia can be there. Hypoalbuminemia indicates a vascular leak. Liver enzyme elevation, elevated LDH, hypertriglyceridemia, chest X-ray may show bilateral infiltrates. Inflammatory markers like raised CRP, ESR, D dimer, low fibrinogen, very high ferritin levels, procalcitonin may be elevated. That may be due to secondary bacterial infection. In IL-6 is one of the important marker of all these syndromes like macrophage activation syndrome and MISC. Cardiac markers BNP can be elevated in cardiac failure. In acute myocarditis, troponin I or T can be elevated. Echo may show depressed LV function, coronary artery abnormalities including dilatation or aneurysm of arteries, mitral valve regurgitation, pericardial effusion. All these things can be there. Coronary artery aneurysms is a classical feature of Kawasaki disease. Now, if we see the management of this syndrome, it should be managed like any other acute inflammatory state. If there is a bacterial infection, we have to treat with antibiotic. Otherwise, treatment is same like any other toxic shock syndrome. If there is a hypotension, you give fluids. If the patient is having reduced cardiac function, you can start with dopamine, dovitamin, noradrenaline. All these things are treatment of choice. Shock should be treated according to standard protocol in emergency room. Put IV line, 2 IV lines, start normal saline 30 ml per kg. If the patient does not respond to your normal saline, then we start noradrenaline. If the patient does not respond to both, then we have to add steroids. Now, in a patient who is having Kawasaki disease-like features, we have to treat the patient with IVIG. Dose is 2 gram per kg administered as a single infusion over 8 to 12 hours. And aspirin should be added if the patient is having Kawasaki disease-like illness. Aspirin dose is 20 to 25 milligram per kg per dose every 6 hours. It's a very high dose of aspirin, so we have to give GI protective measures before giving this much high dose. IVIG also can be given if the patient is having MISC plus features like Kawasaki disease-like syndromes or shock, cardiac involvement, depressed LV function, coronary artery aneurysms, arrhythmias, elevated BNP, other severe manifestation. That means the patient is having Kawasaki disease-like feature, we have to give IVIG. If the patient is having post-COVID cardiac failure or cardiac-related problem, also we have to give IVIG. Steroids can be added with IVIG if the patient is having refractory shock, Kawasaki disease-like features which is resistant for IVIG alone, persistent fever with rising inflammatory markers, or patient is having macrophage activation like syndrome associated features also, we can start steroid along with IVIG, not steroid alone. If we see the prognosis of MISC, 16 case series including a total number of 655 patients with MISC, there were 11 deaths. So that is death percentage is 1.7%. It's not COVID alone, it's MISC. Most patients with cardiac involvement had recovery of ventricular function and resolution of arrhythmia though in some reports approximately 20% of affected patients still had mildly depressed function at the time of hospital discharge. So 20% will have a morbidity, especially cardiac. 1.7% is the mortality rate. So it's a high mortality rate when we compare with normal viral fevers. Antibiotics should be used if there is only suspected toxic shock syndrome like features or a secondary infection when we are suspecting. We can give ceftriaxone with vancomycin. If we are suspecting toxic shock syndrome like features, we have to go for clindamycin. So normally when the patient admitted with severe sepsis or septic shock, even if it is MISC, initially we may not get the culture report, so we empirically start the patient on ceftriaxone or piperacillin tazobactam with vancomycin to cover most of the gram negative and gram positive, and add a clindamycin if there is a toxic shock syndrome like features. So we have discussed about one of the most important complication of COVID-19, that is MISC. It occurs in children and adolescents. Treatment is mainly IVIG. Thank you.